Hey YouTube, how's everybody doing? I hope you're doing well. Thank you for stopping by. I want to start this video by thanking everyone who has inquired about my whereabouts over the last, I don't know, 2, 3 months. In December of 2021, I was involved in a multi-car accident on I-75 where I totaled my wife's SUV. As a result of that, I ended up with 3 herniated discs ranging from 2 to 3 millimeters, and I've been kind of stiff and not being able to look that way, kind of walking around like Mr. Roboto, kind of stiff. It's funny because I wanted to criticize people who go to the market with accident collars and pushing the car all stiff and stuff. Well, that was me for about 6 to 8 weeks. If you're new here, my name is JC, and this is the Cuban Redneck DIY channel. We normally do cooking and grilling videos on Tuesdays and DIY stuff of all types on Fridays. So if you like to eat, fix your house, your car, build speakers, woodworking, I think this is the right channel for you. However, today is Monday. What are we doing putting out a video? Well, this is what we call Rant Mondays, and basically it's a once in a while type of deal where we put out a video that is a little bit off topic to the channel, but it is to address questions from the viewership and or something of common interest to a lot of people. If you're not into cars, do me a favor, click on the title of the channel where you will find a dedicated playlist to every topic that we cover. One thing you're not going to find in this channel is misleading thumbnails or titles. I guess the controversy over me buying a Ford over a Chevy has to do with people who know me personally and know that I'm a die-hard core fan of General Motors, whether it's a Buick V6 T-Type or a 383 LT1. I grew up in a Mopar home where Hemis were the shit. However, I think it was my first year of high school or something, I got my ass whooped so bad by a Chevy Vega. They had a 383 LT1 in it. Since that day, I became very interested in what makes these little tiny motors so versatile and powerful. I became very good at building 383s and I've owned several of them. But I've also owned, had several T-type Buicks, Pontiac Trans Ams, and things of that nature. So it is important to point out that my decision to buy a Ford over a Chevy was not something that Ford did overnight per se, but little things that General Motors have been doing over the last few years that little by little has been weighing on me. This is what I'm talking about. When it came to replacing my 2017 Chevrolet Equinox, my first choice was the 2022 model. At the same time, I am looking for a vehicle with improved MPGs and towing capacity. However, after taking a closer look, I realized that other than the fascia, or should I say the grille, the 2022 Chevrolet Equinox is nothing short of a downgrade when it compared to my 2017. It is powered by a turbocharged 1.5 liter engine that makes about 15 horsepower less than its predecessor. While it makes a couple of extra MPGs in the city, know that there is a video on my channel where I got an extra 5 to 6 MPGs from my 2.4. Besides, as they say in racing, there is no substitution for displacement. With that said, the new engine is turbocharged. Because of that, you cannot lean it out as I did on the 2017 to improve the MPGs. I also noticed that this truck has been going to McDonald's way too often, since it has picked up almost 600 pounds of extra weight. I'm not 100% sure where, but according to the specs, it's there. The towing capacity is still a disappointing 1,500 pounds, but that is very misleading because this vehicle has a very low payload capacity. That means that with 4 adult passengers, your towing capacity drops by better than half. My 2017 Equinox struggled with 4 passengers and a small trailer with 2 jet skis. I guess my other option would be to upgrade to a 2022 Chevrolet Traverse. However, I don't think this is an upgrade at all. The Chevy Traverse has a terrible MPG rating for what it is. If this was a Dodge Durango SRT Hellcat with a 6.2 liter Hemi making 710 horsepower, you might be able to argue the 18 city 27 highway MPG rating. But this is not a Durango. In fact, this truck struggles to make 300 horsepower, and to achieve that, you have to let it spin all the way up to 6,800 RPM.
And since I mentioned the SRT Hemi Durango, please note that the Traverse is almost 500 pounds heavier. This is a spec I had to go and research because Chevrolet does not disclose the weight on their website. I am not surprised since this vehicle is anywhere from 500 to 1,000 pounds heavier than its competition. Not only that, but the towing capacity is still 1,500 pounds. And yes, there is a V52 option for towing, which gets that up to about 5,000 pounds. But I was not able to add it to any of the base models on the website. After reading several reviews and watching several YouTube videos, I was led to believe that this is something only available on the top trim. And that would set you back about 60 grand, or about twice as much as I am willing to spend. And to address all the flat earthers and the trolls, yes, there is supposed to be an entry-level Traverse that is priced around the mid-30s. However, after visiting 4 dealerships, I was not able to find one less than 50 grand. As I got more frustrated with my car shopping experience, Chevrolet dealers and products, the first 2020 Chevrolet Malibu rental we got from the insurance company after the accident left my wife stranded. It first showed a check engine light, and then it was not accelerating, as if it had lost power. After getting a second car, this one a 2021 Chevrolet Malibu with 12,000 miles, I took a closer look and was completely disgusted with the fit and finish. The door panels sit high on the door, and it looks unfinished from the outside if you don't have tints. The headliner was starting to become undone. This is a notorious and well-documented flaw with many GM products, and to this day they have not corrected. Aside from that, the door panels and the dash are covered in fabric, which already look worn, even though the car is only 6 months old. I mean, who does fabrics on a dash nowadays? And this is no fancy material either. So what is wrong with GM? Well, on the Mary Barra's leadership, or lack thereof, GM has become a woke company, living in a fantasy universe where reality does not exist. What am I talking about? She wants to make GM a Tesla. That means every vehicle GM makes will be powered by batteries. To achieve this, they have canceled just about all internal combustion engine development programs, including the 𝐂𝐡𝐞𝐯 Corvette, one of the most anticipated and sought after Chevrolet models. She even doubled down on this commitment by turning on President Trump when he questioned California's radical legislation to ban gas-powered vehicles. Don't get me wrong, I am very much for electric vehicles. I think they have a lot of potential. But I, like many others, keep asking the question no CEO or Democrat is willing to answer. What are we doing with the highly toxic battery waste? This is something they keep kicking down the road, much like the national debt. The bigger challenge for GM is that unlike Tesla or even Ford, they lack the leadership, the competence, and the engineering to develop or deliver an all-electric dependable line of vehicles. You see, GM has now designed or built a simple electric vehicle that does not catch on fire. They were forced to issue harsh warnings about the Volt, some which read in part, park your vehicle 50 feet away from other cars and houses. In another press release, they also warned about parking the Volt in a garage. Depending on what report you read, the Volt fiasco cost the company 3 times what it made from sales. I also want to mention something that bothered me greatly. Under Mary Barra's leadership, GM has donated millions of stockholders' money to anti-American terrorist organizations such as BLM. Needless to say, and even though today we know what this organization is all about, GM refuses to acknowledge this fact, just as CNN, MSNBC, Google, Facebook, Twitter, and others. Aside from being morally bankrupt, GM is facing real financial challenges. There are several dark clouds in the forms of recalls and significant class action lawsuits covering millions of vehicles looming in the horizon. So, after getting all wound up about the way I was treated at a Chevrolet dealer in Punta Gorda, Florida, I ran into a Ford Maverick on my way home. As life will have it, 1 block down the street there was a Ford dealership, where I pulled over and I was treated with respect and professionalism. As a result, I ended up ordering my 2022 Ford Maverick.